cosplayers can be anybody. It can be any of us. I'm bald right now. I'm not normally bald. I'm Krillin from Dragon Ball. Krillin's not a girl. Why would I be Krillin? But that's the beauty of it, is I realize that anyone can do it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
How's everyone doing today? Woo! That was weak.
Come on,
We're at SacAnime. My name is Haley of Hayes Hobbies.
Hi, my name is Ash. I'm Princess Trunks with an extra S. My name is Rhiannon. I also go by Respect. My name is Erin. I go by Call Me Caution.
Dennis, I go by Dennis in this world on Instagram and also YouTube.
Hello everybody, my name is Valentino and my username is Secret Senpai.
We are hosting Cosplay Questions live.
Thank you.
Good? Everyone ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Alright. Good? Let's go host. Let's go host. Same.
All right, how's everyone doing today? Woo! That was weak.
Come on,
We're at SacAnime. Much better. No, I get it. It's tiring in the morning and sometimes stressful, especially when you're waiting in those long autograph lines.
And it is hot.
Hot. Yeah.
So hot today.
I'm
Alright.
All right, so I'm assuming everyone knows what we're here for today. We are hosting Cosplay Questions live. So I have a series on my Instagram. Oh, by the way, my name is Haley of Hayes Hobbies on Instagram. I have a little thing I do each week where I'll ask a cosplay related question and I'll have cosplayers answer. I'll ask all kinds of questions like, what's your latest cosplay? What's your favorite convention to go to? Silly little things like that, and I'll have people answer. Well, here we are live with some cosplayers here to answer your cosplay questions. And so, without further ado, we'll start on my right. That was totally random. I don't know why I felt like I had to pick. But we'll start on my right.
Hi, my name is Ash. I'm Princess Trunks with an extra S on all my social media. And today I'm cosplaying Jackie Laura from Monster High.
Yeah.
My name is Rhiannon. I'm currently dressed up as Lord Beerus, a female version of Lord Beerus from Dragon Ball Z. I also go by Respect on most of my social medias. I'll just say all of my social medias. That's RHI_SPECT. And you want me to go down the rest of the list? Up to you. I'll go down the rest of the list. The type of cosplay that I'm doing is probably pretty much all of the above. So I will purchase my cosplays, I will modify my cosplays, and I've even built my cosplays before. I don't sew them yet. I do want to get into sewing, but it's kind of difficult. So I don't do that yet. I've been cosplaying for 4 years. My notable cosplays are Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, Gogeta from Dragon Ball Z, Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, and then Gwenom, which is a Venomized version of Spider-Gwen from Into the Spider-Verse. And then a couple of awards that I've won before is Best Group. That was Ohana Comic Con. That was for our Sacramento Spider-Verse group. I've gotten Judge's Choice at SacAnime Spring 2022, and that was for the Dr. Octopus that I built. That was Dr. Octopus from the Sam Raimi films. And then I recently got Best in the Adult category at Ohana Comic Con for my Prince Vegeta.
Ooh. All right, and you guys already know me. My name is Haley of Hayes Hobbies. It's going to be Hayes Hobbies on pretty much Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, anything. And some of my most notable cosplays are Gohan from Dragon Ball Z, Spider-Woman 2099 from Marvel Comics. I'm currently cosplaying as Krillin from Dragon Ball Z as well. I also do the all-new Wolverine. It's X-23, but she takes on the mantle of Wolverine. And so far, I've gotten Best in Group at Ohana Comic Con Folsom 2021 for the Sacramento Spider-Verse.
Hey everybody, my name is Erin. I go by Call Me Caution on pretty much all of my socials, all one word. I have been cosplaying for 7 years now, And my kind of recent ones have been, this is Punk Bowsette. You guys are all shocked based off of the horns. I also have done Bomb Devil from Chainsaw Man in the last year, Docky from Demon Slayer, and then Yang from Ruby.
Hello. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Appreciate it. I'm Dennis. I go by Dennis Meets World on Instagram and also YouTube. I've been cosplaying for 2 years. I'm currently cosplaying as Deku from My Hero Academia. I'm most known for, I'd probably say Deadpool, like goofy variants of Deadpool, and then Miles Morales. Most recently, I have a Spider-Man India, which a lot of people have been like going crazy over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Hello everybody, my name is Valentin Navarrete, and my username is Sleeping Senpai, and you just replace the L with the 1. Wait, oh. And so for my cosplayer, as a cosplayer roles, I'm actually a buyer, a remixer, and a builder. So you can see right now I'm actually cosplaying as Bowser, and I actually make the whole entire thing made out of foam, and everything else, I put it all together. And for cosplay, I've been cosplaying for 4 to 5 years. SacAnime has been a really accomplishment to me as a cosplayer, to knowing that I can make things and show it off to people that I know, and they actually can see the work I've done. And for notable cosplays I've been doing recently is people recognize me as Zenitsu. And usually when I go to the Demon Slayer gatherings, I actually bring out flowers to propose to Nezuko. You probably will see me doing that. And then also I did Denji from Chainsaw Man. And also people recognize me as Spider-Punk as well. So you can probably see me at Old Sac, or you probably see me around. So I've made my whole guitar and everything else. And also I did cosplay as Tandro one of these days too as well. And for some of the cosplay contests I actually did, one was surprised too as well, because I actually did Best in Show, Judge's Choice at a convention center at the East Bay. At East Bay, it's like mid between Sacramento to San Francisco, so it's right in the middle. And also a fan favorite as well at the same time. And also I did a Best in Show at a Weekend Blender at the Sunrise Mall. And that's where I kind of participate with the judges here as well, sitting right next to me. And for me, I like cosplaying, and it actually shows my appreciation to myself, knowing I can make things too. And I want to say I'm thankful enough to actually be here talking to you guys and answer some of the questions too as well. In a way, makes me feel proud.
Yeah. All right, so let's get those cosplay questions started. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and I'll call on you. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
I actually do, because currently I'm actually planning on doing a more updated version of Izuku. I plan on having moving parts, lights, smoke eventually. But my question is if any of you have worked with motorized parts, such as gauntlets, as for Air Force, or anything else, what would you recommend to a starter? Just someone that has no experience putting these kinds of things together.
I haven't done anything motorized, so I can't answer
Me either.
that.
I can't.
So, one, YouTube everything, a million different times. But also, I found it's really, really helpful to create mock-ups. Always creating mock-ups with like cheap material, right? Because we get so excited and we're like, I'm just gonna build it right away, and then when something doesn't work, you're like, well, now I have to go buy all of my final material again, and it's expensive. So like if you can make it initially out of paper and mock it up to where it kind of either functions either fully motorized or just mechanically to where you want, then you can start using your more expensive materials. And as a beginner, that makes the stakes just so much lower. But there's also amazing cosplay artists out there that have resources that are completely free. So like I use Tiffany Gordon's resources all the time for her articulating stuff, but also Kamui Cosplay has amazing tutorials when it comes to lighting your cosplays. So those big cosplayers, they usually will publish out like free or very affordable PDF patterns and schematics to follow, and they're very user friendly. So that's where I would start.
Also, another suggestion of YouTubers too as well. If you actually look out, looked out from from the actual SacAnime, there's actually a table over there where you fix your cosplays. Odin makes. He actually does a lot of like lighting up his stuff. Like you can, if you see his whole videos on how he made his stuff, it's spectacular. In a way that he actually made the Mega Godzilla too as well. It doesn't fit him, but he fits for someone else that actually can walk it and function like an actual like robot in a way. And also another YouTuber, his name is SKS Props, and he is very good. That's how I actually got into the idea of making my own type of materials, and that's where I got the materials. And that's where I kind of got like the foam and everything. And there's different like there's different how you say thickness of foam to 10, 6 to 4 to even to the thinnest 1 to 2 millimeters. And that's where you're able to actually kind of design like different layers of foam to actually make it look like pop up for that as well. Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Anybody else have any burning questions? Yes, right there.
When making your cosplay, how do you like plan out how long each part is going to take? Like, how do you make sure you don't actually rush a bunch of it?
And I just wanted to clarify because it was a little bit hard for me to hear you. So you basically said, how do we plan our time accordingly so we don't rush our props or our costumes or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, just clarifying. Anybody want to take that?
This is an interesting one actually because there's this term in the cosplay community called con crunching, where you basically at the last minute do everything at once. Like last night, I had to finish up with this vest, so when I think it comes to like down to how well you handle with time management in other aspects of your life. I think it's you have to know your own schedule, and if you've worked with materials before, or let's say you're working with something that you know is like a really big build, you know it's going to take a while, and you want to do it for a convention that's, we'll say 6 months away, maybe start planning on it as soon as possible. If you want to do something big and it's a week away, you know, more power to you. If you really want to do that, go for it. But if you want to get it as best as possible, really just pay attention to like what do you have time for now. Maybe you're watching TV, you can build your stuff and watch TV at the same time, you know, it's just right there. It's just all about how you personally handle time management.
And I just want to add to it, you'll feel a lot better if you give yourself more time, but you may be surprised how quickly you might be able to get things done. Now this is definitely different for everyone. You may or may not get it the first try, but I know some of the things that I've tried for the first time, I've been like, wow, that was a lot easier than I expected. And I think it felt easier because I gave myself enough time to do that, because I'm like, oh no, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this well. I need to be able to practice. So being able to get it done instantly, you know, is very gratifying. But then I'm like, oh, I have a lot more time to do other things or complete more in my cosplay. But I think just the whole thing is budgeting for time, because you're going to feel a lot better with your work and with yourself if you give yourself more time to do it.
Duct tape and super glue.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So, to kind of piggyback on everyone else's, what they said, don't feel like when you take your cosplay to con, it has to be absolutely perfect that time. Because like there'll be times where you make rendition 1, rendition 2 of whatever. Yeah, you upgrade as you go. Maybe you lack the funds. Maybe you want to upgrade to something else. Maybe you want to change this. This didn't feel right. Walking up those stairs, getting stuck on the escalator was crap. You know, just as you go, figure out what you want. Figure out like, you know. So don't feel like I have to get this done by this convention, because there'll always be other conventions to go to.
Yeah. And then my final thing would be set milestones and dates for yourselves. So if you're starting out 6 months in advance, it's like that's so much time, I can get it all done. And then all of a sudden a week goes by, and then 2 weeks go by, and then a month has gone by, and all of a sudden,
where did the time go?
Yes, your 6 months is like 6 weeks, and you're like, oh no, I haven't even started. So if you have a planner, or if you're like an Excel spreadsheet person like I am, set yourself dates and milestones. So like by this date, I'm gonna have X part done. by this date, I'm gonna have this part painted or weathered, or, you know, and so that way you have definite dates to get your work done, which will keep you not only working in order, but making sure that you're making that project or progress that's so easy to slip by when you're like, but I mean, Baldur's Gate, right? So, like,
Oh, I kind of want to add on to that too. There's actually a bunch of Cosplan apps, like in the App Store. I use them sometimes too, but you said a date, like you could set it to the date before the con, or like maybe a date you really want it done if you want more free time, and then you put, I need these materials, I want it, you put reference pictures, and it'll show your progress, like you log in what you have done so far, and it'll say you're 60% done, and you have like 2 months left to go, you know? So that's a really useful tool.
Here.
That was the same thing I was going to add. We use Cosplanner. It's been really helpful for
Yes.
us, especially with bigger projects that you have a materials list, or you know you need to get other resources. Or we pull in data a lot to help build bigger like construction stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the same too. As I didn't believe it at first, because in a way I kind of like don't trust apps, but sometimes like there's storage in my phone too as well. So yeah, that's that. But in a way, I tried it once, and I actually put it with my Bowser cosplay on, and it took me at least 3 weeks to make the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like amazed. I was like, where did the time go? It's already a month away.
All right, and then I think we had a hand over here at some point.
Yeah,
It was you?
yeah,
It was
hi.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to ask, so we're just diving into working with a lot of the foam, and we've got some of the basic tools, you know, X-Acto knives and the heat gun and the little Dremel to start doing stuff. But what other tools would you recommend as you start working more and more with them? I've seen in some of the videos there's like heat tools, like for cutting and making notches. Like, what would you recommend as the next step up from the basic tools if we're wanting to do more foam work? Anybody?
So unrelated to the tools, if you're looking at like actually painting the foam, Plaid Effects paint. He actually taught me to use that paint. But that one is specifically made for cosplayers. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's not going to crack on the foam.
How do you spell it?
I would say,
Just Plaid and then FX.
I would say Val, you can answer too.
Oh, this
A
one?
lot
You
of-
want me to answer this?
Yeah, like, you're
What
the foam
tools do you
man.
use?
The
Yeah.
foam man. Oh yeah, for like foam in a way, because there's different types of paint that actually, if you put it on foam, it would crack. Because anytime like you bend the foam, it actually has a flexibility. Because with the heat gun, you're able to flex it as much as you want to actually kind of make it to like your actual chest size, or like the arms to your legs. So with that, you because there's certain paints that actually would stay on here, or will actually stay onto the actual foam, and then when you bend it, it won't crack at all. I tried like 2 types of paint, and they just cracked. It's like crumbles of like, I'm like always looking back, I'm like, why there's so crumbles everywhere? Oh, it's the damn paint. But I actually looked up, it's actually called acrylic paint, and I actually go to this one store, it's called it's called Blink Art Studios, where you're able to actually, that's where I got my foam and the paint. So there's all sorts of paints. You can mix it to, you can mix with 2 colors, or you could just use the color like that. Because with this whole Bowser cosplay, and I actually kind of use all the paints for the claws too as well. So anytime I bend it,
We have the
it
little props right
actually
there.
won't crack. So you can see my
You can see the
gauntlets right
paint
there
on
too.
it. There's virtually no cracking. Actually, no, there's no cracking.
No
cracking.
You're like looking at it twice. Wait a minute.
But you can see too how he's molded it to be at a slight angle. Like if you were to paint it and then try to like bend it, the paint might crack if you're not using the correct one. So
So how did you cut all those pieces out? Just with an X-Acto?
Oh yeah, with the X-Acto knife, because there's actually another method where it's actually called laser cutting too as well, because you're able to flatten out, and then you're able to actually see how much thickness of the actual foam, and the laser will actually cut it the whole piece over. But for me, I had to cut those things by hand. That took me 2 days to make all those little templates all together, even to the gauntlets, to my shins, to my boots, and then to my shoulders too as well. So that took a while. So it took 2 days, and then exactly 1 day to paint all of them too as well, all green. So that comes all together.
Another product that I would highly suggest is they have foam clay. So
Yeah, we've worked with that in shading.
that's really good. It's not only is it good for just filling in those cracks, because sometimes you'll put those foam pieces together and there'll be a seam. It's not smooth. Just using that really helps, in addition to using the foam clay, and just for foam in general, either getting like a mechanical sander, or my favorite, I just get sandpaper. Just pull up to the Home Depot, get some sandpaper. It really helps to really smooth things out. You could get away with, you know, just putting the foam pieces together, and it would probably look fine. It depends on how detail oriented you are, but I would suggest if you want something really clean, really smooth, really finished,
Take it to the next level.
take it to the next level. Smooth it out with some foam clay and sand it. It'll really help you define those shapes.
And this one's just like a really simple, but if you're working with contact cement, if you're doing, yes, and everyone's like, oh gosh, the contact cement.
Got that at Home Depot yesterday.
Yes. A lot of the contact cement cans will have brushes in them, right? Those brushes are awful. I have found that silicone makeup brushes are the best way to get a really thin, even layer on the edges of your foam to get really clean seams for your contact cement.
Like the little flat ones?
Yep, the little flat ones that you can use to like spread on foundation, or I don't actually know what they're used for makeup, but
There's a lot of lip gloss ones.
yeah, so they have them in all different sizes, but the contact cement pretty much peels off of the silicone, so you can clean them and use them over and over again, and that's how you can get a really easy, even layer of application, and that's been like my go-to tool recently.
This is like chocolate pizza.
Yeah.
I've been working with contact cement and all my brushes. I use about 50 brushes.
And I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, that's kind of why we're hosting this panel, is because like when you get into cosplay, it can be difficult to find the right information or like all the little tips and tricks. Whereas I think as a cosplaying community, we should be able to reveal those tips and tricks to everyone so that more people will join us for cosplay and have fun with us. You know, why not make it easier for them when, you know, we had to struggle through it and find out the hard way.
I'm still
you know?
struggling.
I mean,
Suffering? Sure.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
So, what got you guys into cosplaying?
What got us into cosplay?
We all said ooh at the same time.
We'll go down the best question.
Go down. You guys want to go down?
Start
the
from
line?
the
Yeah, let's go way down.
Oh, my turn?
Start with the boys
Well,
first.
boys first then. What got me to cosplaying is SacAnime, because here's the story. So it's short. So when I went to Old Sac, just walking around with my high school friends, I'm like, what are you doing? I have a loud speaking voice. Can everybody hear me with my voice like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
we're
good. Okay,
Well,
good.
you're projecting enough into the microphone.
I'm echoing out to the whole hall.
Okay, story.
So when I was walking down at Old Sac with my high school friends, I saw, because there's actually a sock store that I actually went into, and there was a flyer. And that flyer said SacAnime, and what I see was actually the voice actors from Ruby, the RWBY, and I actually saw all four of them right there. I'm like, oh, I recognized them so much. I was like, I gotta go to this. And when I flipped it, and there was actually Charles Martinez, the voice actor of Mario.
Oh, Matt.
And did I say it right?
You said Martinez.
Oh, come on. Anyway, so it got me hooked. I actually went there for one day and with my mom, and then she went along with me to see what's going on. And then when we actually went in and we see everything else, whoo, for me to get in those lines, it was long. Like the first start of it and being a rookie at the same time, sheesh. And then soon after, I started cosplaying into that, because I see a lot of people like dressing up for like showing off their different characters they actually see or shows, because it's not all about anime. They actually do DC, they do Marvel, they even to shows like The Last of Us or from video games, from Call of Duty. I'm like, oh damn. So it got me hooked. So my very first cosplay was Reaper from Overwatch. I actually did dress up for him, and he was actually kind of like a rough draft, and that's where the start of how it became me becoming a cosplayer at that time.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So my first convention, that's actually how I got into cosplay too, was SacAnime Summer 2021. And so I wasn't a cosplayer yet, and I was doing like a YouTube channel and not really knowing what I was doing. I was vlogging, and so I thought, I'm gonna go to SacAnime. I've been wanting to go. COVID's kind of on the wayside, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna go. And so I vlogged it, and I did the cosplay noob thing where I bought everything off Amazon and was like, I'm just gonna throw it on that day. I'm not even gonna try it on. And I looked like a goofball. Anyway, so I went in there and I was just amazed at seeing everyone's like cosplay, all the effort that everyone put in. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is like a legit thing. And so I've been hooked ever since. And so I've been trying to step up my game and cosplay. I'm addicted now. That's it.
That's where Deadpool came in.
Yeah.
So I started cosplaying about 7 years ago, and it's actually because of two people that are out here right here, Brandon and Tyler. Go ahead, stand up, wave, yeah. The reason I'm here is those two. They used to come to SacAnime even before I started coming, and my brother came back one time and he was like, Erin, these are our people. Like, it's for the creatives and the nerds and like
My family!
Yes,
I
like,
found them!
this is so great. And so I figured, next year I'm gonna go, and if I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna cosplay. And I was so nervous about it because I didn't realize like how much of a culture around cosplay and how kind and welcoming the community was. And so we went and we cosplayed, and I had a fabulous time. And I was like, okay, well, this is it for me. I'm going to be doing this forever now.
This is my life now.
This is my life now.
So I think my earliest exposure to cosplay was when I was probably in my tweens to teens. And the thing about being a tween or teen, unless you have a high school job, it's really hard to get into cosplay just because of how costly it can be. I was one of those where I did so many extracurriculars that I did not get a job until I was out of high school. So, you'd search up like cosplay online, and you get like the doppelgangers of people that look exactly like the cosplay that they're doing. And I was like, wow, I wish that was me. Fast forward to 2020, it's still, kind of the heat of the pandemic, and, a lot of people don't have a lot to do. Well, right around the corner from me was Roseville Comic Con 2020. That was my first ever convention, and now that I was an adult and working my little job at Baskin Robbins, I actually had some money to spare. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw something together. So I did a mashup of homemade Spider-Man 2099. So if anyone has seen the Spider-Man movies, he usually has like a homemade costume. I made the homemade suit based on Homecoming, but Spider-Man 2099, because I love Spider-Man 2099.
He's racist.
Anyways, so I showed up in my costume, and what I realized is that cosplayers come in all different shapes and sizes. It's really cool when cosplayers look exactly like the character they are, but cosplayers can be anybody. It can be any of us. I'm bald right now. I'm not normally bald. I'm Krillin from Dragon Ball. Krillin's not a girl. Why would I be Krillin? But that's the beauty of it, is I realize that anyone can do it. And especially now that I have some adult money, much sweeter that I can really delve into it now. But anybody can start anywhere. Even a tween or a teen that was interested in doing it. I see teenagers all the time walking around cosplaying and whatnot. And, you can start with an Amazon thing. All it takes is buying that first Amazon costume, wearing it, and you're set. I mean, that's homemade Spider-Man 2099 was a hoodie and sweatpants and a mask. That's it. That's all it takes.
Nice.
And then kind of like connecting to that about the whole Amazon thing, it's completely valid for you to purchase your cosplays. Either if you're just starting out, if you're not as crafty, the only thing that's not valid is claiming that you made your cosplay.
Oh.
That's a big no-no in the community.
Yes.
More often than not, you can tell when something is mass-produced, but I mean, sometimes you can't. But if you're claiming, like, oh, I got this thing off of Amazon, but I'm claiming, oh, I completely hand sewed it and everything. Just,
That's funny.
please don't
Add
do
on to
that.
that?
Yeah, add
Just
on
a
to that
second.
real quick.
I want to add on to that. You can commission from like people who make costumes too, and I have this really gorgeous Gogeta wig. It's very big, it's spiky, it's sleek. And when I went to Anime Expo, people were like, "That's amazing! Did you make it?" And I said, "Actually, no. This artist made it. They made it. You know, they make all kinds of stuff like this." So really, if you do commission the outfit too, always give credit to the artist.
Yes.
You know. Anyway.
Yeah, on to the actual question that
There
was
you go.
asked.
The story.
I got into cosplaying because I'm a huge Halloween fanatic.
Yes.
Now, when you
yes.
think
yes.
Halloween fanatic, I totally love all the spooky stuff with it, but as a kid, like, I didn't want to dress up as something scary. I wanted to dress up as the most obscure character out there. I was like, I don't care if no one knows who I'm dressing up as, I'm going to dress up as that person. So like I mean, most spooky costume I did was Beetlejuice, my Beetlejuice cosplay. But even before that, in like 2016, I dressed up as Ford Pines from Gravity Falls for Halloween, which I still have that costume in my closet. I haven't worn it in a couple of years, but everyone was like, who are you dressed up as? Like, you're a girl dressing as an old man? Like, what the heck? So I think that just stems from me being a Halloween fanatic, and then just, you know, delving into the whole community, going to the convention for the first time, and actually being in that community instead of, you know, isolating myself. I'm like, why am I so weird? I'm dressing up as a weird character for Halloween. No one's gonna know who I am. But it's because deep down, I didn't know what it was. But it was because I liked cosplaying. And now that I've gotten into cosplaying and found this whole community, like, all of these friends here, except my sister, I've known her all my life.
I'm
But
kinda
the
here by
rest of these
default.
people I met because I started cosplaying. That's the whole reason why I know that. That's the whole reason why I'm friends with them. And I'm just so glad that I met them because, you know, I don't think I would know nearly as much as I do about cosplay. I'm still learning. I wouldn't know as much as cosplay without these people, so I thank them.
And now it's Halloween all year round.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
My story is sort of similar to yours in that it stems from Halloween. I remember when I was 5, I got this Supergirl costume, and I wore it until it fell apart. Like, I grew out of it. I wore it all the time. I tried to convince my mom to let me wear it to school, and she said no. And then when I was around, I don't know, maybe 10, I went to Las Vegas Comic Con because my mom wanted to go, and I went as the Hulk. I painted my face green.
Yeah.
My brother had a t-shirt that had like the Hulk's abs on it. And then I made my own like shredded purple tutu. And I went, and all these like adults were like, "Oh, Hulk smash." And I was a really shy kid, and so I was getting all this
Attention.
positive attention, and it felt really good. But then I went back into my shell for a really long time, and then I got into anime in middle school with my brother. Watched it together, and when you watch anime, you sort of learn about the cosplay community. They're connected, you know. So I started getting interested in it, but I was too nervous to actually do something about it until I was 17, when I posted like my first picture of me in cosplay, and I was really nervous about it, but I was really excited too. And it was a Future Trunks cosplay. And it was just clothes I had in my closet. I had a denim jacket that I dyed purple with some purple dye from Walmart. I bought a $5 capsule cork patch, and I went, and I looked a mess, but I still keep the pictures up to know where it came from. To this day, I still buy my cosplays. If they don't fit, I'll alter it. Like this outfit, this entire outfit is completely like, I bought it online. Well, I didn't buy it. I actually won it in a giveaway that a bigger cosplayer was holding. So yeah, like you said, there's no shame in buying. Absolutely no shame in buying. It's all about how you feel, what you're most comfortable with. If you think you want to try crafting, like go ahead and do that. I personally am not. I think I want to. It's just I think I'm more comfortable with buying, and that's totally okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Yes?
Do you have any personal fan favorites or recommendations for store-bought cosplays, especially for those on a budget?
Wait, what did he say?
Yes, I do.
Wait, what did he say? That was a mouthful. I didn't get that.
I definitely had to do the hard work in finding certain websites to get good prices. What I will recommend though is that look at the reviews. Look to see if an item has reviews, because if it's super cheap and there's no reviews on it, chances are it's not going to be as high quality as you want it to be. But definitely I recommend looking to see if there's reviews, because you can get a steal on a specific cosplay. One of the big ones that I have is AliExpress, and everyone's gonna be, oh, AliExpress is just a bunch of cheap garbage. That's why I say look at the reviews for those, because if it has good reviews on it with pictures and everything, be like, okay, I'm gonna get that because I trust what the reviews are gonna say.
And not just like the one-word reviews that are obviously
Like
fake
good.
reviews. There will be there. I was looking at some costume, some shirt or something. I'm like, oh, let's go see the reviews. 5 stars, great shoes. It's not even shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got that wrong. But yeah, another website that I would recommend. Did you already say it?
No, I only said
Is-
AliExpress.
I would recommend Easy Cosplay, but you have to be careful because there are certain products that are better than others. Totally recommend most of the Dragon Ball wigs. Usually, especially too if they have pictures. If you go on my Instagram or you go on her Instagram, you'll see our wigs that we got. Those are from Easy Cosplay, and they came styled pretty good. Pretty good. If you have to do any styling, really, I would recommend. They have got to be. It's specifically for wigs. I used Gorilla Glue spray on my wig. Don't use it on your real hair. We don't want that.
Obviously, if you're working with that, work in a well-ventilated area. You don't want to
Wear
get
masks.
sick.
Wear gloves.
Protective
all of that.
equipment is good.
But yeah, Easy Cosplay's wigs are actually really good. You'd be surprised. You'd think, oh, it's going to be a crappy Amazon wig, and it really wasn't, surprisingly.
So Amazon is my best friend, and so
I'm your best friend too.
oh, there you go. Yeah. But what I find, like, you see a lot of generic ones that are probably from China, but one of the best ones that I've seen, I think you probably purchased stuff on there. Is it Mick Costumes?
Oh, Mick
Mick
Costumes.
Costumes.
I buy
They
from there
put
all
out
the
some of the
time.
best
Yeah.
stuff, and they have a lot of cool fandoms in there. And if you can't afford like their most expensive version, like I did a gender bend Himika toga once, and they also have other, like like a standard version,
Yeah.
like an elite version. So they have other options out there. But as far as Amazon goes, I'm actually wearing a Mick costume.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I
high
also
quality
want to
stuff out
say that for some cosplays that I do, I actually have like pieces of things in my closet, or you can go to a thrift store. Like for Trunks, he has a black tank top and black pants. I'm like, I have that, So you also might have some things in your closet depending on the character. You can always check out a thrift store. I also like remix. So let's say I buy something and it's not quite right. Like I had a denim jacket. It's blue. I couldn't find a purple one. I just dyed that purple. So you can kind of use what you have. Thrift stores are really good too. Mick Costumes is good. And again, Amazon wigs, they can be cheap. I just want to add that too. They can be cheap, but they can be, if you work with them the right way, they can also turn out like very well done.
This is from Amazon that I have right here. The only thing I really had to do with it was that the bangs came super long. They would have been right here, so I had to trim them.
Oh yeah, you might.
But
have to
other
work
than
with them
that,
a
it's
little
really
bit.
soft material. It's not super thin. So
Yeah.
Amazon wing. I do want to add, going back to Easy Cosplay, I'm going to do a little promotion here. I actually have a code going on right now on Easy Cosplay. It's literally just RESPECT, RHISPECT. You enter that code and you'll get 15% off your order. So go save yourself some money. Well,
Self-promotion.
I don't get
Shameless
anything from
self-promo.
it. It's you guys who get the discount.
Yeah.
So this is all for you. But it goes until September 30th, so you do have some time.
What size?
Easy Cosplay, just Easy Cosplay.
For an add-on to that, I've been buying wigs for a long time. I have about at least 40 wigs in one bin, and it's all different styles. So like long wigs, to like this one, really long red hairs, or like from like I do like Demon Slayer cosplays, and I do My Hero cosplay. So I got like all different styles, and I kind of like if I really want to get a wig, usually I recycle one of those wigs for another cosplay because I'm trying to do Blitzo from Helluva Boss, and so I got a I did Donkey ones from My Hero. Is that the name right? Donkey from My Hero.
I don't watch that.
No, Dobby. Oh, Dobby. Dobby, not with a K. I'm like, what did I say that? No, Dobby, because he has white hair now, but I actually have the black hair. So I have the black hair wig. So I'm like, maybe I could use this for Blitzo then, because in a way I would love to use my actual hair, but I'm like, I already cut it already. So why not just use a black wig? And so I just use that. So I'm just trying to test it out what it looks like. So in a way, you can recycle some of your wigs, even to clothing too as well. I buy some of them, and also there's another website. It's called cossky.com. It's another it spells KOSSKY, and it's another website where actually they sell a whole bunch of outfits too as well, to Star Wars, to anime, to Marvel, to skin suits, and everything, all the above that you could just think of, and they see your measurements to see which size would fit you more. And I kind of bought a couple of them. I know it could be a budget. I actually bought an outfit on there for $200. It was just clothing and didn't fit me. But in a way,
Look at the size charts.
yes.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to you about how you can reuse
Lies.
things. I want to add on how you can reuse things. I have this black wig, it's a cheap Amazon, just lace front black wig, and I've used that for so many different characters. I've used it for a female version of Gohan, a female Dobby, a female Nightwing. I do a lot of gender bends, but it's just straight black hair wig, and I use it for so many things. And until I pointed out to people, they go, "I didn't realize you wear that wig a lot." I know, because it's useful and it never lets me down.
I look good in it.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
What is the hardest cosplay that you've ever built?
That's a tough one.
Or the most
Dr.
expensive?
Octopus. Dr. Octopus for sure, because I had never done that kind of building before. I actually had to get advice from my dad because he works in Parks and Rec, on how to attach the arms, because I had a backpack, and he said, why don't you use PVC piping? And I was using dryer ducts, so I would use the dryer duct clamps and clamp it all in, do all that stuff. So that was my first time doing something like that. What is it? Technical? Or an actual I'm doing building. This is akin to actual construction building almost.
I think probably my most difficult build was when I did Daki from Demon Slayer, because I did her full traditional kimono, and I was I need this to be not only screen accurate but period accurate as well, as I was sewing and patterning. And so it was a ton of research, and it was if I'm going to do this research, because it snowballs, right? If I'm going to do the research and I'm going to do the build, then I want to make sure that I have materials that can hold up to again the period accuracy. So then you're looking at expensive fabrics, and of course I'm not going to stop there. I was I also want her obi ribbons to be coming out and over me, so created a harness from a corset that I had actually my brother help me weld attachments to, and then had to kind of build out from there. So it was one of those builds that was super three-dimensional, gravity defying, but also just so much research into how do we make this be period accurate to what is the equivalency of Demon Slayer era garb. So that one is definitely almost did me in. And then when it came time to wear it, it was probably the single most uncomfortable thing I've ever worn. I went out and I was oh my gosh, I put months into this cosplay, and I think I was able to wear it for 3.5 hours before I had to tap out. So we live and we learn.
Stop killing me! Why are you doing this to me?
you?
Oh, for
Please,
me?
when you was at?
Yeah, you're
Oh, for
best-
me?
biggest build.
I think the most expensive, I can't even remember because I have like almost like 40 outfits at home. I can't even tell which one is more expensive. But I could say that my Malphamy from the Shield Hero, or Rising the Shield Hero, if you actually heard of it, he was actually kind of like one of my most expensive because I actually got it from the actual website that I talked about. He was about 150 and it actually fit me well. And I actually wore it, but since I actually lost a lot of weight, and when I put it on again, I'm like, damn, it still fits me. And like, I'm never gonna get rid of it because in a way, it still fits me. But that's actually kind of like one of my expensive cosplays. And then I actually made the shield as well, the Rage Shield. And I thank God that I actually met Billy. Thank God, rest in peace for him. That he actually was the voice for him, for Malphamy in the Shield Hero. So rest in peace for him. But I actually was able to actually took a picture with him as the Shield Hero, and that was actually an honor to meet him.
All right, anybody else? Let's do Dipper.
It's actually Grunkle Stan as different.
Grunkle Stan.
Grunkle Stan as different.
Got it.
Focus on cosplay.
I mentioned sort of the community, cosplay community. What are the ways that you guys connect outside of cons, like in between cons, and what other places are there to
I think you should answer that one.
So usually the connection does start with interacting at conventions. Going to cosplay gatherings is a really big one, or just meeting people on the floor and talking to people. But outside of conventions, sometimes what's really good is making a group. You can either make a themed group, such as I have the Sacramento Spider-Verse. Now it's not just for Sacramento people. It's for what I call even the greater Sacramento area, or even people that are like an hour or two out, or if people just go to conventions a lot. The Sacramento Spider-Verse is a lot of us Spider-Man cosplayers getting together, doing things. We've started branching out and trying to go and attend events. You know, the kids love to see it when you go out dressed as Spider-Man. They're like, Spider-Man! It's amazing. It's really amazing. So making groups like that, or even just the connections and the friends that we've made up here. As you can see, we're all kind of all different characters, all different shows, you know, especially with like My Hero stuff. The only reason I know about My Hero Academia is because they know about it.
You need to watch it.
Yeah. And
No more Dragon Ball for you.
Let her watch Dragon Ball.
1 week.
one thing that's really fun is having cosplay get-togethers together. And just going out, like recently with a couple friends, we went mini golfing in cosplay. We're all like, let's all go as video game characters. So we went as all kinds of different video game characters, and we just golfed. And even then, you can hang out with people and not even be in costume. I remember when, right after Weekend Blender, I think some of us still stayed in our costumes, but some people went and got changed and whatever. And we went out to dinner together. We all just hung out and we chatted, and you know, we chat about a lot of things cosplay, but we also just chat about general things. You know, cosplay. Cosplayers are normal people, so.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to like how you sort of meet people in the community. All of the friends that I have now are cosplayers, and I've met them all through social media because, like, let's say I'm going through the hashtag SacAnime on Instagram, I'll like pictures, I'll comment, posts, and then, you know, you comment, you chat, you end up DMing, and then you become friends, and it's like, you know, you're in the Sacramento area, the SacAnime area, or maybe they're from far away and they came out here and you know, oh, we go to the same con, we'll meet up there every year. So that's kind of how I've met most of my friends, and then I have like other friends, and then you, again, like social media through TikTok, Instagram, again, like gatherings. I met them at a Dragon Ball cosplay gathering. You just chat around, you meet people, but social media is really a big way for cosplayers to connect, or if you want to get into cosplay and you just want to look at, like, you see pictures of cosplayers and you're like, you look so great, and you end up messaging, and then you end up becoming like really close friends. So all of my close friends I have now I've met through just, oh, they're in the hashtag SacAnime, I commented, and like a few years later we're best friends, or like a few months later we're best friends, because we're just always in the same area, so yeah.
Sacramento for life.
Sac fam.
Yes.
So I am part of the Sacramento Spider-Verse, but I actually live probably on the furthest outskirts in that I'm a cosplayer from Reno, Nevada. And so I don't necessarily get to join the Sacramento cosplay groups as much as I would like, but kind of no matter where you are, it's always worth looking into to see if there are any volunteer groups in your area. Because so in Reno, we have a group called Cosplay for Kindness that I'm a part of. And we go around and we visit children at the Children's Hospital. We do Humane Society adoption events, themed adoption events, and things like that. And that has kind of helped me really grow my community while also giving back to the larger community. So if you can get in with any volunteer groups that utilize your love of cosplay and your love of characters, that's a really, really great way to kind of expand your circle as well and do some good for the community.
Just as a general thing, just for any. Oh, sorry, was I talking over you?
No, go for it.
No, go for it.
No, go
No,
for it.
sorry, Dennis.
No, go for it.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Just as a general point, don't be afraid to step out your comfort zone. I know for me, just getting up here gives me butterflies in my stomach because I hate public speaking.
Really?
But
Where's the butterflies?
but stepping out of your comfort zone is really going to help you connect with other people. And, it's okay to be afraid, but you can't let that control you. You can't let your fear control your life. So I know for me, stepping out of my comfort zone, I may be walking up to someone that I really want to talk to or be like, can I take my picture with you? I'll be afraid doing it, but I'm still going to ask that person, can I get a picture with you? Can we exchange social media so that way we can stay connected? But just stepping out your comfort zone is a good thing because after the fact, more often than not, you'll realize, that wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. I'll be like, that was nothing. Okay, go ahead.
He was like,
Dennis.
what's up?
Go ahead, Dennis.
I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. So I was just going to
sorry,
piggyback.
Dennis.
So Haley started the Sacramento Spider-Verse, and she runs that whole group. You're actually the host of the meetups on Sunday. Yeah. So I've been going. It was 2022, right? Or winter. The first one you held was
The
a
first one I had
Spider-Verse.
was winter. I want to say it was 2021.
Yeah, I think it's still.
Yeah,
2021.
winter
It was my second
2021.
con. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Haley's been hosting that and putting it together, and it's been amazing. That's my favorite part of the whole con.
Yes.
And so we also have a chat group that we have, and so we were talking about community, and so not all of us, a huge chunk of us actually met and watched the new Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
We went and we took photos, a group meet, kind of similar to what we do at con. We did photos, and then we actually went and watched the movie in cosplay. All of us were in cosplay. Loved it, and then we went and took more photos, and it was just a really cool thing to just get together.
Basically, the whole theater was just us Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was pretty much
Yes.
all of us, yeah. And then I think we went to Burger King after. We tried to get the Miles burger, and they didn't have any.
They
That
didn't
was a
have any
bummer.
of the Spider-Man stuff.
I got the cup. I got the cup.
I heard it turned you into a spider.
All right. So I think that's where we're going to end our questions. And good luck in all of your cosplay ventures.